Good morning. Today is May 14th. We're 2 weeks into our 30 days of May the Life Force be with you. And today we're going to practice a fun hand balancing pose called Bakasana. And this one is a little bit tricky. It takes some coordination, some balance, some openness through the hips, and some shoulder integration. So before we go into the pose, let's just talk a little bit about shoulder integration. It's so important that we get the arms back into the shoulder girdle and not have the shoulders rounding forward. I mean, this is important for us all the time, just for our posture and for our health of our breath and our internal organs. When we slump, everything gets compressed, and when we take the shoulders back, then we open everything up. We're able to breathe more fully, and our circulation improves, and everything feels so much better. So one way we can think about getting good shoulder integration is to create a lot of space in the sides of the torso. So if you inhale and lift up through the side ribs, that gives us more room to take the shoulder back. So it's easy to see if your arm is forward and the shoulder is rounded forward, right? It's hard to plug the shoulder in. But if we take a deep breath and we lift up through the rib cage, and then the shoulder can move way back. And this is a nice, healthy place for the shoulder. We have a good range of motion in the arm when the top of the arm bone is back in place where it should be. All right, so before we go into Bakasana, let's just do one easy hip opener. We'll come into bound angle pose here. Well, it might not be easy, but we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Rotate your thigh bones in and widen the sitting bones. And then for this variation, you're going to press the soles of your feet together. So we're hugging in towards the middle of the body. This is going to be really important when we try to balance and fly in Bakasana. And then instead of trying to push your knees down, bring your hands just above the inner knee and lift your knees up into your hands. You're going to feel the inner thighs tone a lot. All right, so we want to engage those adductor muscles. And lift the heart, shoulders back, and keep squeezing your knees up into your hands. It's a lot of work. Take a few deep breaths. And then relax. Ooh, that's intense. So for Bakasana, it's nice if you have a little landing pad in front of you. I don't have one out here, but you can put a towel or pillow or a blanket at the front edge of your mat. And then you can come over into a squat. And you can be up on your tiptoes. Back up a little bit here. Up on your tiptoes, and your heels are not touching the floor here. You'll separate your knees. And then the position of the arms. There's a lot of different ways you could come into Bakasana. You could come into it from standing up. I like to come from the ground because I love to be close to the ground. It makes me feel safe. Your arms are going to end up in a chaturanga arm position. So to start that, you get your shoulder down as close to your knee as you can. And if you press your elbow out to the side a little bit, you make an X with your shin and your upper arm. You do that on both hands. And you set your hands just like you were going to do downward dog, with the creases of your wrists parallel to the front edge of your mat, and your hands about shoulder distance wide, like the centers of your wrists, your outer shoulders distance wide. So you've got a good amount of space between your hands. Then you can think of your torso like a seesaw. So right now my hips are down and my heart is up, but I want to put more weight into my heart than my hips. So I'm going to raise the hips up, bring the heart down, and then I'm going to come forward so my elbow is almost over my wrist. That way I get good leverage here. I get the strength of my bones holding me up. I don't have to use so much muscle, and then Bakasana becomes more of a balance pose than a muscle your way into it pose. All right, so here we go. Hips up, shoulders forward, elbows almost over wrist. You can lift one foot off the ground, and here you got to squeeze your knees in. You can bring that foot back down, take the other foot off the ground, squeeze your knees in, look down at the floor in front of you, and then see if you can get both feet up and then you balance. And if you feel like you're gonna fall forward, you lift your chin, like that takes your hips back down, so there's your seesaw. So enjoy having fun with Bakasana. Don't worry if you don't get it. If you get one foot off the ground, that's amazing. If you get both feet off the ground for a split second, that's super fun. And you might get this nice feeling like you're flying like a beautiful crane. All right, so enjoy. I'm gonna try one more, see if I can get a little more hang time. Here we go. I'm squeezing in. I'm rooting from my heart down into my hands. And my fingers are doing a lot of work here. And then come on down. All right, so the hands are your balance, right? When you press into your fingers, it kind of pushes you back a little bit, so that's another way you can avoid doing the face plant in Bakasana. All right, enjoy, have fun, namaste.